Okay, Oak Rovers, this is going to be a video that's going to help you multiply integers and also to divide integers. First, we're going to start off by doing some multiplication of integers. So what I'd like you to do is on the left-hand column, I have 5 times 5, and that's 25. And 5 times 4, that's going to be 20. And what I'd like you to do is go ahead and fill out that column, continue the pattern. 5 times 3, 15. So you go ahead and fill out that column all the way down to the 5 times negative 5. And there is a pattern there, so as you'll see as you're working these, and hopefully you'll be able to see what the pattern is. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 1, 5, anything times 0 is 0. My answers are going down by 5, while one of my numbers that I'm multiplying is staying as 5, and the other is going down by 1 each time. If this pattern continues, it's going to be 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and so forth. So we're going to finish off this column. And your column should have looked like this. So what happens is my answer keeps on going down by 5, while one of the numbers that I multiply goes down by 1. Okay? Now that's part of multiplying integers. Okay? We're going to do another column over to the right side here. But first, I just want you to think about 3 times 2 is 6 and 2 times 3 is 6. Multiplication is called commutative. You can change the places of the numbers and they're equal to each other. So since 3 times 2 is 6 and 2 times 3 is 6, I'm going to say 5 times negative 5 is equal to negative 25, and negative 5 times 5 is also equal to negative 25. And I'm going to use that and bring this number up here. So I'm going to say that 5 times negative 5 is equal to negative 25. Now, by that pattern, I have something similar to it. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And also it turns out that negative 5 times 4 is also negative 20. Negative 5 times 3 is going to be the same thing as 5 times negative 3, which is negative 15. And what I want you to do now is pause the video and fill out the right column. See if you can pause the video and find the pattern in the right column. So go ahead and pause the video and try and figure out the pattern in the right column. Okay, hopefully you had 5 times negative, or negative 5 times 2 is 10, negative 5 times 1 is 5, negative 5 times 0 is 0. And the pattern now, my negative 5 staying the same, and this 5, 4, 3, I'm going down by 1, my second number I'm multiplying. But my answer now goes from negative 25 to negative 20, then to negative 15, then to negative 10, then to negative 5, then to 0. If you continue this pattern, my answer is going up now by 5 each time. So negative 5 times negative 1 is going to be positive 5. Negative 5 times negative 2 is going to be 10. Negative 5 times negative 3 is going to be 15. Negative 5 times negative 4 is going to be 20. And negative 5 times negative 5 is going to be 25. So just like when we were adding integers, there were different cases. When I multiply integers, there's also going to be different cases. And when I divide integers, there's also going to be different cases as well. So what I want to talk about now, and I'm going to have you guys take notes on this, so you should have been writing this down in your notebooks, okay? This needs to be written down in your notebooks, and now I'm going to write down some multiplying rules. So we have this up there on the top in your notebooks, and now I'm going to write down some multiplication rules. And what I want you to be looking at, multiplication rules, okay? So what I want you to be looking for is these different cases. A positive times a positive, we've been doing that for a long time. Positive times a positive is just going to be a positive answer. And I have about 5 examples of that. I have this right here, this section right here is going to be a positive times a positive. I also have some problems. It's positive times negative. Positive times negative is going to be this section right there. And a positive times a negative is what kind of answer? Well, all my answers for these are all negative. So a positive times a negative is negative. So these problems are positive times a negative. On the other side, I have some that are negative times a negative times a positive, and all my answers for these are all negative. And then I also, whoopsie, can't see that. I also have a set of numbers that are negative times a negative. These were negative times a positive, those there. But if I have negative times a negative, notice that all my answers on negative times a negative are positive. So negative times a negative is equal to positive. So my multiplication rules, when the numbers have the same sign, if they're both positive or both negative, my answer is positive. When the signs are different, when one's a positive and the other's a negative, or the other's a negative, or one's a negative and the other's a positive, my answers are negative. So my multiplication rules are when the signs are the same, the answer is, and here we go, these signs are to get the same, my answer is positive. Now these are just for multiplication, and as it turns out to be division also. So the signs are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, a positive times a negative, or a negative times a positive, my answers are negative. So when the signs are different, the answer is negative. Okay? Now those are your notes on multiplying integers. As it turns out, dividing integers have the exact same rules. And I'm going to show you that tomorrow. But the key for you to know today is this. And I'm going to flip over my page. When I have dividing rules, a positive divided by a positive, or a negative divided by a negative, they're both going to be positive answers. And similar to multiplication rules, negative divided by a positive, or a positive divided by a negative, both of those are going to give negative answers. So let's see how this works on our homework. So your homework for today was this packet. In this packet, I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. The first page I look at is see if the numbers are the same or they have the same signs or different signs. It says tell whether the product is positive, negative, or zero, then multiply. So the first one, the signs are different, so it's going to be negative. I'll just use the letter N for negative. And then 2 times 10 is 20, so my answer is going to be negative 20. Okay? For the next one, the signs are the same, so it's going to be positive, and 8 times 9 is 72. Okay? That's what you're going to be doing in all these problems. The signs are the same, so it's positive. 7 times 15 is going to be 105. Okay? So your job is to finish off this side on skill 6. Those are all multiplication of problems. Then after you do that, you're going to go back to the back side here and do the exact same thing. I'm going to take 72 divided by negative 8. Positive and negative. The signs are different. My answer is negative. 72 divided by 8. The way I do that is I say, what times 8 is 72? And the answer is going to be 9. And since it's negative, it's going to be negative 9. 45 divided by 9. Negative 45 divided by negative 9. The signs are the same, so it's going to be positive. What times 9 is 45? My answer's got to be positive 5. I'll show you why that works tomorrow, but what I want you to do right now is just to understand that if the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If the signs are different, your answer is negative. And this is for both multiplication and division. So I want you to work on both of these two worksheets. The skill 6 is multiplying integers, and then skill 7, which is on the back side of that, which is dividing integers. And I'd also like you, if you can try and do page 22, which is all these problems right there. If you don't get it done, you're going to have more homework for Wednesday. So I'd try and get as much of this side 22 done as possible also. And that's the homework for tomorrow. So you can watch this video, make sure you get your notes in here, and make sure you understand it. Then you can start up on the homework. If you have any questions, I'll be in school tomorrow. I'll be there before school or during prime time, or else you can ask questions as we work in class. But I will be there tomorrow, and we'll go over how to do some of these again. I hope that helped, and I hope you're having a good day at school today. Thanks.